Shalom, Shalom, Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, Rucha Kodash. Double honor to the elder apostles of the Great Millstone GMS who rule well, who teach well, and salutations to the elect. Lord willing, Adon Ratazar, this lesson is edifying. So, inspiration for this lesson is drawn from the article that you can see on your screen, which was put up from endtimeheadlines.org. Alright, placed upon the 5th of October 2025. So, yeah, okay. First UK, now Switzerland embraces digital ID as the B system is falling into place. Okay, so yeah, the B system and the establishment of the cashless society. All right, we can certainly see that E is moving rapidly with it, man. The UK already mandatorily, going to push out the digital ID anyway. Okay, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, stated so. Okay, now this is not the digital all itself. However, it is one step closer to the MOTB. Okay, now you have Switzerland following suit. All right, and many more nations are on board too with this. Okay, so this will be pushed worldwide. All right, before I go further, let's get the book of Sirach chapter 5 and verse 15. Now I'll put the link to the article in the description box beneath as well. So it says, Sirach chapter 5 verse 15 reads, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small." Right, the word ignorant means to not know something. Okay, so hey, this is gradualism, leading up to, compulsory implementation of the RFID micro chip, which is the MOTB. So the B system is moving fast. Okay, here we are, another article proving that, these various countries are all in league. Okay, so at the end it shall speak and not lie, man. Habakkuk 2 and 3. Okay, and don't worry about us, man. Worry about yourselves. All right, you got people scoffing about the MOTB like Bishop Nathaniel of the IUIC. Okay, and that's a compromised group anyway, man. Okay, and it's clear as day what the dominant society is about to do. Okay, which is run by the small hats, Amalek, the international ish banking families, DuPonts, Gettys, Oppenheimers, Rothschilds, etc. Okay, and a set of these puppets to basically do their orders. Okay, they just need the right crisis in order to enact their plans. So it ain't tarrying, things ain't tarrying no more. And this is happening whether you believe it, support it, like it or not. All right. And yeah, the country Switzerland, that's surrounded by EU nations. Okay. In fact, let's chat something. All right. Gosh, this thing moves slow, man. Is Switzerland a part of the EU? Okay, let's see that. Is Switzerland a part of the EU? No, Switzerland is not a member of the European Union. However, it has close ties with the EU through a series of bilateral agreements that allow it access to parts of the EU single market. Switzerland is also a member of the Schengen area, which allows passport-free travel, but it remains outside both the EU and the European Economic Area. Would you like me to explain the main agreement in Switzerland has with the EU? Okay. Okay. So, not in the EU or EAA. So it's not part of the European Union. It's also not a member of the European Economic Area, which countries like Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein belong to. Bilateral agreements. So instead of joining the EU, Switzerland negotiated bilateral agreements that give it partial access to the single market. Some key areas covered: free movement of people. Swiss and EU citizens can live and work in each other's countries, trade and economic cooperation. So Swiss companies can access many EU markets, especially for goods, transport and transit. Important because Switzerland sits in the middle of Europe. Research and education programs, participation in EU initiatives like Erasmus and Horizon Europe, though sometimes with interruptions. Okay, Schengen and Dublin. So Switzerland is part of the Schengen area. No passport checks at borders with most EU countries. It also participates in the Dublin system, which coordinates asylum applications within Europe. So difference from EU members, Switzerland does not take part in the EU decision making. It's not part of the EU customs union, meaning custom checks still apply on goods. It does not use the euro. Its currency is the Swiss franc. So Switzerland is deeply connected to the EU but keeps political independence by staying outside. Okay, interesting. All right. But yeah, ultimately, this would be a global thing, the MOTB. Right? That's what it leads to ultimately. Alright? Let's get Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. But yeah, Switzerland is surrounded by EU nations, man. Alright? Sits in the center of Europe, like chat said, according to chat. Revelation chapter 3. These are the words of Yahushua as it's in red. Okay? And it reads, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Yeah? So this MOTB, man, is going to come upon the whole inhabited world. When you go into the Greek word for world, it should be oikoumene. Yep. Strong's G3625.
Strong's G3625. Oikoumene. Oikoumene.
Yep, the whole inhabited earth. The whole inhabited earth. The whole inhabited planet. Okay. Okay, so yeah, they have it. Yeah, so these different nations are getting in place to push it out and roll it out, man. Okay. Yeah. Let's get back to the article. Alright. So, opinion. In a closely contested referendum, Switzerland has forged ahead with a groundbreaking digital identification system that prioritizes user privacy, setting it apart from more intrusive models being pursued by the European Union and the United Kingdom. This development, approved by a slim margin, underscores the ongoing tensions across Europe regarding data security, government oversight, and individual freedoms. The Swiss electorate voted on the Federal Act on Electronic Identification Services with just 50.4% in favour, marking the second national debate on digital identities in 4 years. You see? Yeah. The narrow victory highlights societal divides, particularly in rural and conservative areas where concerns about surveillance and potential data misuse runs deep. These anxieties mirror broader European apprehensions amplified by increasing digital monitoring. Okay. You see that? So, and America is the horde that rides upon the beast. America controls the beast. These different nations will be in the same boat with each other, when it comes down to this. Alright? Let's get Revelation chapter 17, verse 17. Revelation chapter 17, verse 17 reads, yep. For Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, shall be fulfilled. Okay, so the words of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua is being fulfilled in these last days which we are in. Okay, got signs in the heavens taking place. Alright, we don't have 10 years left. Alright, days are going by faster and faster. Yeah, days are just zooming by. Okay, the sea hip will be pushed in America as well. Alright, kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. You see? Yeah. So yeah. At the core of Switzerland's approach is a system designed to address Big Brother. Okay. Uh, fears are head on. That's pretty much the NWO. Alright, at the core of Switzerland's approach is a system designed to address Big Brother fears head on. The EID is strictly voluntary, provided free of charge and issued solely by the state. You see that? Okay. Alright, digital monitoring and all that. So yeah, everything is the one everything tracked, traced, and monitored. Okay. Crucially, all personal information stays on the user's smartphone, avoiding any centralized government or commercial database. Physical ID cards will continue to be available and valid, ensuring citizens retain genuine choice in their engagement with digital tools. This model stands in sharp contrast to initiatives elsewhere in Europe. The EU's European Digital Identity Wallet emphasizes cross-border compatibility but incorporates a mix of centralized and decentralized data storage, which has sparked worries about data aggregation and user profiling. All right. Yeah, it's like data is the new gold as well. Let's get the book of Daniel chapter 8 verse 25. See, this is the way things are heading, man. Everything becoming more digital, doing away with cash, everything being more online, so they can have more control, total control. Okay, over everyone, and have their information just readily accessible like that. Medical records, everything about that person and people's. Okay. Daniel chapter 8 verse 25 reads, "And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand." Okay. Yeah, so more cameras everywhere, especially in Great Britain, we've seen that. Okay. Loads of speed cameras over here watching you, alright? Okay. Track you on your smartphone, alright? Track you when you're leaving your house, alright? You're on camera, okay? Hey, national security, so many illegal immigrants in the UK. So with this digital ID, it will be, they'll say, oh, it's to help the nation be more safer. All right, see who is who, where and when. So through peace he shall destroy many. That's how E gets down, man. Okay, let's go back to the article. All right. Meanwhile, in the UK, Prime Minister Keir Starmer's administration is pushing forward with plans that could make holding a digital ID essential for employment, a policy that has drawn sharp rebukes from civil rights advocates and the public who fear it could lead to exclusion from jobs and essential services. Swiss campaigners have voiced similar cautions, warning that even voluntary schemes over time become de facto mandatory if access to essential services moves online. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, voluntary, man. Yeah, voluntary for right now. Okay. Free of charge, just like, Prime Minister Keir Starmer says. You know? You see? Yeah, so it'll be free of charge, but by the end of Parliament, it will be mandatory. In fact, let's do this. Put Keir Starmer digital ID in chat, see what they say. What's proposed? The UK government plans to introduce digital identity, often referred to as a BRIC card or BRIC card, in media by 2029. Of course, before that, they want that done. It'll be mandatory for right to work checks. You won't be able to legally work in the UK without having the digital ID. It's intended to help tackle illegal working, immigration via small boats, i.e., undocumented migrants working illegally, and also to modernise state functions. See, the digital ID will be free of charge. For people who don't use smartphones or may have difficulty using a fully digital ID, they'll be Provisions to address that, either given physical cards or otherwise accommodating. Okay. So key features and intended scope. The digital ID will include standard identity data like name, date of birth, photo, nationality, residency status. Okay. They say it's not intended that people carry a physical document in all situations. The ID would typically be held on a smartphone or device, something like a digital wallet. Yep. So all this goes hand in hand. Digital ID, digital wallet, all's going to be on the C-hip. Okay. Similar in concept to NHS app or contactless payment cards. Though all citizens, residents will have the digital ID, using it beyond what's mandatory, like for the right to work, may be optional in many settings. Oh. So yeah, concerns and criticisms as well. Privacy and civil liberties, and obviously there's going to be a lot of people against this. People are going to worry about how personal data will be stored, who will have access to it, how secure it will be from hacking, surveillance, and misuse. Okay, so on and so forth. Implementation difficulty, how to make it accessible for everyone, especially vulnerable groups, people without smart devices, or those with digital illiteracy. Also concerns about bureaucracy, the cost of transition, verifying identities robustly. Yeah. So yeah, if you don't have a digital ID, you're not going to be able to work, is what they're saying, which means you won't be able to buy and sell. Okay, and it's issued solely by the state. See? So they often use terms like voluntary, to make it seem, oh, okay, all right then, cool, I might consider it then. It's optional. Why not get it? Okay. Yeah, it's optional now, but it'll soon be mandatory. Okay. Prophecy says so, man. The digital all, even that is going to be mandatory too. In China, they have the social credit score. Okay. It's all gradualism. Okay. What is gradualism exactly? Spell it wrong. Gradualism is a concept that appears in different fields, but the core idea is always the same. Change happens slowly and steadily, rather than suddenly or through big leaps. That's what it's about, conditioning the masses. Okay. In politics, gradualism means pursuing reforms or changes step by step rather than attempting radical, sweeping transformations all at once. Okay. All right. Slowly phasing out cash, pushing more contactless payments until they want that in your hand. Okay. All right. They didn't just suddenly. You had, even with the L downs. Okay. The bit by bit, they're saying, wear your mask. All right. Social distance. All right. Until months later on, they brought down the vaccine so you can take it. They didn't just say, oh, okay, damn it, this big Crown 19 is out. Everybody get the Crown 19 thing. They didn't just suddenly just bring that bring out the vaccine for you to take like that. People would have just said, hey, well, hell no, I'm not doing that. But over time, they eased you into it. You see, all right, and they're gonna they're gonna market the digital ID as something that's convenient. Okay, don't have to worry about losing your ID. It's going to be looked at something more safer. Don't forget about the Genius Act. Okay. All right. Remember the golden statue of Donald J. Trump with a Bitcoin in his hand? And you remember Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy wants all Americans to wear wearables, track their health information and that. Yeah. All right. It's more than that. Okay. Hey, if your social credit score, you know, ain't good, you ain't going to be able to access the internet. You won't have access to social media account to post and upload stuff there, here and there. Okay, that'll be gone. Speaking out against Captain Kirk, you wind up losing your job. Is that two people are losing their job over this Sea Kirk thing situation? All right. Yeah. It's all about applying, pressure from above, pressure from beneath, applying that squeeze. Okay. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 29. Isaiah chapter 29 verse 20 reads, "For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught." Okay? The hating that rebuketh in the gate. Alright? Hey, so you won't be able to live a life like a normal, everyday, regular person would. Okay? Alright? If you deny that seed, man, you're going to be excommunicated from society. Okay? Alright? You're going to have to rely solely upon Yahweh Shem Yashai to sustain you them times. Okay? You ain't going to be able to like go shopping as normal and travel as normal and things like that. Okay? If you don't have the seed. Okay? Those that do not worship the image of the beast will be killed. So the infrastructure's in place, basically. Okay? You can't lose your debit card and your credit card if it's in you. Same with your identity if it's in you. That's what they're pushing for, to place it inside of you, man. Alright? Hey, this is even common in Sweden. Alright? In fact, for the fun of it, let's just ask chat. As of the 6th of October 2025, how many people in Sweden have been micro-C-hipped? So, most recent estimates are around 6,000 people in Sweden have had micro-C-hips implanted under their skin. Okay. Yeah. They've been getting that done for years. Alright. They're already being used for payments and travel passes. Okay. People in Babylon the Great even have micro-C-hips. Okay. And all this is tied to loyalty and worship of the beast. Right? The digital all is an idol. They want to electronically tag everyone to say that, to say that E owns you. Okay? They want to electronically tag everyone. Alright? E wants to own everyone. Alright? He wants the birthright back. Everything will be digital. If you don't have a digital ID, then you cannot transfer your money into a CBDC, central bank digital currency. Alright? Biometric data. So this is a gateway to the C-HIP itself. So they push this thing as a choice right now, to ease you into it. Swiss campaigners have voiced similar cautions, warning that even voluntary schemes can over time become de facto mandatory if access to essential services moves online. Despite these concerns, proponents in the Swiss parliament and government maintain that their framework provides unparalleled privacy by design, a radical answer to European fears of social credit style systems and institutional overreach. Alright, yeah. There you have it, man. But yeah, with that, I'm going to say shalom.